Good morning. Good morning. My name is Heather Aston, and this is my welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. I hope you'll find this video informative and entertaining enough that you'll want to hit that subscribe button and change the notification bell to all so that you never miss the release of one of my videos in the future. If you are a returning viewer, otherwise known as my treasures, love you all. So happy that you're here. You showing up is why I'm still doing this rather than just talking. Hey, on Saturday night, I just showed you a few alternative ways to use chain within your design. I had an example where the chain was the design. I have an example of when the chain is a conduit from one part of the design to another. And then I tried to do one where it was just utilitarian, just for up around behind the neck. And I could not get a design together. I still haven't. So I'm going to put those beads away, and depending upon how the beginning of this video goes, if we have time, I'll pull out some other ones, some other beads, and see if we don't have more success. So today we are going to, first off, I want to show you how this looks when it's actually finished and positioned right, because this was the chain is the design necklace, which I am absolutely obsessed with. I love the way that it turned out. I'm so happy. Some of the chain was just twisted, and on one side I had used the stationary chain as the chain to attach the other piece to. Also, the outside piece did need to be 4 inches, not 3 inches. So the center one is 1 inch, and then this one is 2 inches, and then this is 4 inches. Obviously, you can play with that based upon the chain you're using and the focal you're using, but I just turned the chandelier upside down to do this, and then just kept the focal very simple. Just one little black teardrop crystal right in the center of what would have been the top loop of the chandelier piece originally. And this stemmed from something I'm going to try again today, where I wanted the chain to have upside down and to kind of like swoop up from those, or swoop down, sorry, to connect one to the next. So we're going to play around with that a little bit today. But guys, I'm just like, oh my goodness, so obsessed with this. Let me say hello to everybody real quick. Good morning, Mary and Lynn. Hello, Delon and Georgina. Hello, Mary Trent. Nice to have you once again. Hello, Tina. Okay, I think that's everybody. Do you have a picture? I'm still waiting. Wait, what picture, Mary? I missed something. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out what she is referring to. You're feeling better. Just da-da-da-da. I'm not sure what you mean by this. So can you let me know? But yes, I know I have lipstick on. My curtain was closed. Like, I'm good. The only thing I didn't do was put some jewelry on, but yes. Oh, thank you, Mary. I just wanted you guys to see like what the finished project looked like, because I was just trying to give simple instructions and then go from there. So we did this one again. That was the example of when the chain is the necklace. And then this next one is an example of when the chain is a conduit between one part of the necklace and another. So I'm going to try to hold this up a little bit so you can see. Just stay up. This is why I don't use these leather ones. They're so slippery. Okay, so this one is when it's a conduit from one part of the design to another. So this was the one that I used the fancy jasper, aka, oh my gosh, why am I spacing? Fancy jasper or Indian agate. So, and then I made these very simple earrings, and at first they did not have the little ball in the middle of them. I wasn't loving the way just the chain drop was looking. It wasn't hitting it for me. I played around with putting other pieces of chain down, didn't like it. And then I just used that technique that I taught, if not last week, the week before, where you can incorporate the bead into your chain yourself without having to buy the chains to do it. And so the ball right in the center of the chain, I was like, yep, that's where I like it. Done. So those are the two. You were lagging behind. Oh, you were lagging behind this picture. Okay, good. I was like, wait, what? No. What is going on? Okay, let's make sure everybody. Oh, I'm not on Rosanna's channel. Never mind. I don't have to put the comments up. So today, as I said, number 3 is when it's just utilitarian, like many of my necklaces are, where I like to run chain up against the back of the neck. So it's not technically part of the design because you don't really see it. I also talked about if you were to do like a very simple, almost like choker style necklace, and you had an open back, that you could drop the chain down the back, like this chain with just the like loops down the center of your back would be stunning. Absolutely stunning. I don't know what Steve did with the coffee today, but this is like all slush and won't come up. And the other one is frozen solid. So I'm stuck with water today because I didn't realize the other one wasn't functional. Not that he's a sweetie. I didn't realize in time to go make a little bit of something. Okay, so that's where that went. Also, guys, if you ever need a simple way to store like coordinating pieces, I like to stick my earrings through the chain and then put one of the silicone rubber stoppers on so that it's there. And sometimes, and then I just reverse connect the bracelet. So I will use the lobster clasp into the connection and then use the loop on the other side, or just attach the one side and let the bracelet hang down. And so that's a very easy way of storing your jewelry and keeping the pieces together, especially if they're going to be sold, then you want to do that. Today, which I think I've said 3 times now, I apologize. Let's see, got the baby sleeping. Oh, that's great. Oh, honey, you're making potato salad. That's okay. We are all good. Yes, Leah, how is your hand feeling today? Did she sneak in and I didn't see her? She did. Hello, hello, my dear. It says we have 15 people on, but I'm only like seeing 5 or 6. So pop up in the comments, guys. We love to have you as part of the show. Of course, I just knocked those over. It's all right. I need them later. So today we're going to be talking about ways to construct the chain yourself. As you guys know, I love to do that. I love to do it with twisted wire. I love to do it with handmade links. I love to do it with everything else. Oh, honey. Aw, I dress my potatoes while they're warm. So then like the seasoning get into the potato. I also season my water when I'm boiling potatoes with more than just salt. Like Old Bay is my go-to because it has a little bit of everything in it, and I really like that combination. So yeah. Oh, good. Everybody likes to dress. Yeah, if you don't, it feels like everything is sitting on top of the potato rather than the potato being incorporated. And then I like to let it like completely cool before I stick it in the fridge. And then when I get ready to serve it, I put a tad bit more mayonnaise in and stir it up and it always tastes better the next day, right? Okay, so I was thinking of showing you a couple different ways that you can construct your own chain. And so this suggestion is these little tube beads that I sometimes have a hard time designing with outside of putting them in like a bracelet or using it as like part A of the design, part B of the design, like that, which you can do. But I also like to use these to make links. And it doesn't just have to be these spacers. Oh, look, Elizabeth is here now. Any other personalities coming out to play this morning? I'm sorry, that was naughty. I was just playing. I didn't mean that the way it sounded. I apologize. Anyways, it doesn't just have to be these that you use to make chain links. You can use other little spacers like so. And these, again, you guys, pop these in between two pieces of chain every so often, like every 2 inches, every whatever, and I'll give you the tip on how to keep the spacing uniform from start to finish. You measure the chain from the end from one jump ring to the next jump ring. You don't measure like it's like the end to the end. And that will help you keep your links sorted out and spaced evenly. But these with some chain, even if it was like my favorite little scrolly one, because this chain mimics, it kind of has the same feel to it to me. So I could very easily, and we might just do that, although I probably would have liked it to be direct connected. I didn't think about that. So we might not do that. I'll do that on another show because I have plenty of them. So next time I decide to make this, I will just have it direct connected. But then this becomes a nice stacker necklace. And sometimes you want a little bit simple, or you can do this as like a strand of a necklace. But I I could very easily see myself just wearing this necklace, just having these every so often throughout the design. I I could still attach it. These middle links, I can't tell if they're soldered. They are indeed soldered. So yeah, I would want a direct connect if I was going to do it with this. And I really I really think that's going to be very pretty. The way that it is. Wait, what's wrong? What did I miss now? Am I still spelling it wrong, Delon? Tina, those are my husband's apps. He loves those. I thought I was spelling it wrong now. Right now. Oh, okay. No, I meant like when we talk privately. Anyways, but you can do that with any of these. And if you think to possibly some of your favorite chains that you've owned over the years, you may notice that the ones you really gravitate towards are ones that it's literally, instead of paying to buy a beaded chain that's already done or to buy a section of chain, you can make your own. And then, like I said, you can layer this with other things, whether you want a shorter necklace to go more up by your collarbone when you have a longer necklace, or maybe you have a collar necklace, or what I like to call Becky necklace. She was very fond of that latest Becky necklace that I made. I call it that because of the length. It's the length she likes so much. So she was like, I love that. And I'm like, thanks. And she's like, no, really, it's gorgeous. And I was like, well, thank you, ma'am. Anyway, not that you all didn't say the same thing. I sent her a picture. Okay, so this is one way, and we are going to use this in a design in a few. Now, another way that I'm going to show you is to use scraps. You all know that I am somebody that likes a little more rather than not enough. And so you can make these little links with as small as 1.5 inches. If you're really good with the pliers and tucking wire through, you could probably do them with 1 inch of wire. They would just be smaller links. But I like to make these out of scraps that I have. And it's something you could construct like right after you cut the excess off. If you have enough to go and make one of these little links, make it and keep it in a link box. That's what I like to do when I'm trying to master a new link that maybe I hadn't tried before. I make a whole bunch of them. It helps with my memory recall issues. So I have a box where I keep all of those. And then when I need them to like make a chain, then I pull out that box and I go through the different sizes and shapes and everything else. And I wanted to show you guys something. Man, did I push it off the edge of my... Where did it go? I had told y'all that I had found that itty bitty little perfect oval link that I had made. And I remade it this weekend and now I'm not seeing it. So anyways, I thought that these would be really cute. Hi, Cheryl. But I thought these would be a really cute little look. You can turquoise and red go together so beautifully. So you could do some beaded links and put these in between these. I have made them in the past where I put a bead on either side as well, and then you just use a crimp in the center of it. And then you've got these little links. But I decided to keep it a little more simple, and it ends up almost looking like a little bow, which if I hadn't cut the ends off, it would, and I could have like bent them down, that would have been cool too. But yeah, you could do this with as little as an inch of wire. They would just be really little. For these ones, I cut 2 inches, and then I just tried to match up the size of the loops. I will go ahead and show you one so that you can see it, or maybe 2, because I had 5 of both, and then the 4th turquoise one like shot out of my hand when I was cutting the excess off. So I think that was the beauty god saying, Heather, do it twice. Also, am I the only one that breaks these? All the time, you guys. I broke 2 of them this morning. I don't know how I manage it, but I do more than once. Okay, so you're just going to take your length of soft flex. Again, this is 2 inches, and there's going to be excess wire at the end. I just want to get through it with it not being fizzly. And then, so I need 2 copper links. And yes, I'm going to show both links. I'm going to show these because there's a part of it that I want to like explain. Pixie, you might need to come. No. Okay, you're good. So I'm going to do 2. So I need 2 of these little copper crimps from Beadalon. And you're just going to slide your crimp tube on. I will tell you guys that both with soft flex and Beadalon, I have found that the copper crimps have the thickest walls. And they also, you have those little wire clips between them, so I might take it off and when I need to put them back on. Yeah. So, and then all you're going to do is, what I was saying is that the copper ones seem to have the thickest wall, and I have noticed they also have the tendency to have like the little bit that comes down from the side more often than the other colors. If you are having a hard time getting the one side to go back through the crimp, it's probably because either this side or this side is twisted. So you just need to turn it and then you'll be good. So I have it peeking out on those sides. I'm going to grab that side and try to snag that, the opposite side, so that I don't lose it. And then I'm just going to get my loops to the size that I want them to be. Make this one a tad bit longer. And then I'm just going to pull out my magical crimpers. And then the center, the crimp in between, in the little concavity of these pliers, and squish once, not hard. You don't have to squish it hard. Center it again and squish. And though it rarely needs it with these new ones, I'm going to go ahead and do a third. Okay, so there's the little link. And you can see I have over 1/4 of an inch of extra wire on either side. So if you're really good with, I normally do it with 1.5 inches. I went to 2 inches so that I didn't have to, like, it can be a little difficult to see as I create it. So there's that one. I will go ahead and do it one more time. I also have the red here just in case the blue was a little difficult to see. So I'm just going to put my crimp on. I'm going to create the loop with one side. I'm going to pull down the wire on the other side. And I just saw that it was twisted. So I'm going to untwist it and put it back through the other way. And then you're just going to go and pull the loops to the lengths I want them. About there is perfect. And then I'm going to go, hi, hon. Babe, the coffee was a slush on one that wouldn't come up the straw and completely frozen in the other one. So I don't want to forget to mention it later. But it's fine because he also made sure I had ice water. So wait. It's okay, babe. I just didn't want to forget to tell you tomorrow. Okay, so there we have those. I am going to go ahead and show you on the red because the blue did kind of just like disappear up against the like blue-green bead mat I have. I need to get new ones. I have to take medication right around the time I come live, so it can dry my mouth out. So that's why I drink so much water / coffee. Where, oh, I put them away. Let me show you this one more time, and then I want to show you how I used these links to make a chain, and then I have an idea that just popped into my head on how to do this. Oh, okay, I have an idea. I don't know if it'll work, but I have an idea. Okay, once again, you're just going to put your crimp tube on, and you're going to push it down and go back through. Guys, this is also like a spot where you could use less expensive crimps that you might have in your stash from back in the day. I like the perfect little beaded look, so I'm going to go, and then I'm just going to cross the other wire back through. My wire is twisted, so it doesn't want to go back through because the twist takes the room away that it needs. So this is what I mean. If you are good doing this to like put the chain back through the crimp tube, You could definitely do this with 1.5 inches of wire. You just put the first bow on, or the first loop on, and then you pull it. And here, let me show you what I was about to say, but I'm gonna pull it out the right way so that I don't get a kink. No, I'll just start a new one. It's already pretty, not necessarily kinked, but it's, oh, the shape is already set, but I'll show you what I mean. It's kind of like when you crimp the end of a necklace. You start with one side, and then you pull the loop down as small as you can, giving you more cord for the other side to crimp that side. So I'll show you what I mean. Since I did an extra red, I will do the next one out of the turquoise. I pulled these colors out because I had told Beth that oh my gosh, Heather, speak. I told Beth that either the red jasper Heshis or the red jasper or the crystals or whatever, that red would have gone very well with the amazonite in her design. See if I can pop this on without breaking it. Funnily enough, it's when I'm putting it back on that it breaks more than when I'm taking it off, or so it seems. Okay, so what I meant with this, just like last time, you're going to put it on, and I'm going to keep this end relatively short. Then to start with, then I'm going to put it through on the other side. Come on, it's springing back on me. Like so, but then I'm going to take it down quite a bit, again, leaving me all this room to make the other side of the bow. And then you can go in and fidget with both sides until you get it the length you want. The only thing is you don't want to go too far back, or you're going to have the problem I'm having right now, which is you're not coming out. It's wanting to pop out. Okay, there we go. You want a little bit of length at the end. And then you just go through. See? Why are you making this difficult? This is the easy way to do it. Okay. You're going to grab it. Grab the other end and feed it through your crimp tube. All right, there we go. Okay, so we pushed up the length on the other side. Now we can catch this little loop here. Tighten up that side a little bit. And if you're finding it that like one side is longer than the other and you can't get it just right, try moving the crimp tube itself rather than pulling this loop out and then that loop's too small and then pulling that one out and now it's too big. Just adjust with your crimp tube until you get the size loops that you're wanting. And then just like before, although these loops, no, they're about the right size. You're just going to crimp and get your little center slash in. Oh, another thing you can do ahead of time, like if you're recovering from surgery or something and are in bed, sometimes I like to just take 11 and feed them on wire. I'll show you. And you can do different patterns and all sorts of fun stuff. But like just taking I'm going to make a little loop on one end. I'm just going to take and I'm going to do a little loop on the one end. I thought of this because when we were digging through like old boxes and stuff, I found like a whole container with a bunch of these. It's just in the living room right now, or I would have just shown you those. But they all had triple wraps, so you know that I did them quite a while ago because I've been using the hybrid loop for quite a while now. That was the thing that was funny because I would be like, I was able to tell when they were from, like based on different beatbox content, or like if I bought them from a company that I might not have ordered from in a long time, or I'm not ordering from them at all anymore. It was made it easy for me to tell like what era the bead mix was from and stuff like that. So all I'm going to do is put the little seed beads on, and I'm going to bend my wire. I probably should have left more room there, so I'm going to fix that because these are seed beads. And then go up, leave a little bit, 1 millimeter of space, so that when I go in to do my loop, I'm not breaking my seed beads. And then just do the hybrid loop on the other side. And then line up my loops. I made them perpendicular for some reason. But then you just have these pretty little beaded links that you can use in a chain. Like if you ever do the link challenge with Becky, that's a good one. You don't have to use just one color bead either. You could create a little pattern out of them and use those within, and it just gives you a little glint, a little something something. Just something to kind of, oops, sorry, I dropped my water bottle. Okay. What was Mary T's idea? Now I need to go see it. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Gina. Oh, yeah. Okay, so what was her idea? Can I use crimp beads? You might be able to. You wouldn't be able to use the magical crimper, but you could use a regular crimp style and to create with that. That would be good. You can also use them as the beads on one of those. Sorry, my thing is really, you don't have any wire like that. I thought your hubby just bought you some. Yes, that's what I did, Mary. Originally, I have the bracelet around here somewhere, but originally there was a bead on this side and a bead on that side on both sides of the loops. I put a bead on both sides of it. Just like with this, you could do like 3 11-ohs, an 8-oh, 3 11-ohs. You could do 2, 2, 2, 2, and go back and forth. Like there's so many different ways that you can just make little components and just take your time. And because they're handmade, no one else is going to have that same link. They might have the same type of link, but based on the pattern and the seed bead and the colors used, all of that, it helps set your self and your jewelry apart from other people, even if you don't sell, but you design and post it for content consideration. This will kind of set you apart. Now, I want to show you this really quick, and then I'm going to test my little idea. But first, well, there's stuff knocking over your water. Okay, where did I put it? I will tell you that I use, my wax lotion that I can actually use without things getting all slippery. Knock on wood. Oh, I was going to say, or not. This is just beeswax lotion, and I love it because, as I just said, it doesn't make your hands all slippery. Oh, speaking of my link box, see, I have a whole box with different links, different sizes, different colors, different whatever. Sometimes when I'm in a lot of pain doing like industrial style, doing all of one part of it, then all of the next part, then all of the next part, it makes it easier to do. Okay, 20 gauge wire right here. So I believe now I said it's not going to be slippery, and it's going to be slippery just because I jinxed myself. But I'm not. Oh, there, that's better. I just had a little bit too much off. So for these, I used 2 inches of wire again. I'm going to go about 3/4 of an inch down in length just to make my little loop. Bend it. I'm using my micro. Did I use my micro? Did I use my? I might have used my mandrel. I might have used the first step. I did use the first step. Okay, if you really didn't want them to stand out, you could use smaller. All right. I'm going to pull that back. If you need a little bit more space to do this, I don't know why I made this first loop so difficult. I do it all the time. And then the other side, I have way too much extra. Okay, now on this, I made sure it was nice and tight, and there's a reason for it. You also go ahead and center your loop. You're going to put, and I'm going to go over this twice. So I might have to adjust my med time because this is annoying. Okay, you're going to put the link in. And the reason you want your wraps really super tight is so that it looks like more like you purchased them that way rather than you handmade them that way. And yes, normally I would stick bead tubing on this, but I'm not for a very specific reason, which I'll tell you right there. I'm just going to bend it over bend the wire right at the top of the little tube bead. And then I'm going to get my pliers right up and in there. I'm going to go down, around, paste it down, then twist it so I can pull it back. I'm going to center my loop, but I kind of want to walk it down as the ruler is making Pixie's job difficult. So that when I go and do this wrap, it can kind of sit on the inside. And if you're a fan of simple loops, you can definitely use simple loops here. The hybrid loop is just my personal preference. But like I said, hello, you want to pull the wire really tight so that once it's clipped off and tucked in a little bit, then it seats right inside of the tube bead. And again, makes it look more like you purchased it this way, not that you handmade it. Not that there's anything wrong with it looking handmade. I only cut one length of wire for some reason, even though I said I was going to show it twice. And now my brain is not connecting where I put the wire down at. Oh, right here. Okay. This time I'm just going to eyeball it. Okay. Bend it at an angle. I go in directly into the bend. So I'm not parallel or vertical. I'm at an angle. I'm just going to come up, over, down, go parallel with my board, pull that back. Again, I like to tighten my loops, all of my loops, but especially it's especially important in this instance because I want it to be able to sit inside of that little tube bead. So pull that back up where it belongs and trim. Then I'm going to put one on. Did I misunderstand what you meant, Mary Trent, when you said those little links? Okay, I'm trying to see. Mary, am I understanding your suggestion correctly that you were talking about the softlex, that you would put a bow on either side of this? Or did you mean that I should put a sparkly bead on either side of this tube bead? Both would be beautiful, actually. I mean, and if you use the right side bead, like bicone, and put the top towards the little tube bead, like so that it seats itself also inside, like so. Put one on the other side, making sure that you have the top facing inward, and then you could just do it like that as well. You could put a little sparkly one like that. And I know none of these are original thoughts. I'm sure plenty of people have, I know they have, because we see beaded links all the time, which I was going to bring up, But I also figured that we've all seen those quite a bit. So that's why I was thinking that that would go without mention. But in case you're new, I guess it's a good idea to still say which one. Well, now I need to scroll up. I want beads in my mailbox. Hi, Rosanna. You could any colored beading wire, you could use you could use yarn. You could use like nylon string. You could use S-lawn or B-lawn or any one of the lawns. And put the crimp tube in the middle or the crimp bead and just crimp it down tight. And you could use those. That would be a very lightweight piece. So if you're using heavier beads, that could be cool. I have also crocheted a chain and then put that on either side. Depends on what kind of piece you're making. You could do it with hemp. You could do it all sorts of things you could use it for. So an AB crystal, yes, that would be pretty. Oh, I hope you're having fun. I didn't see if I was taking. Wasn't thinking of the two beads, but that would be pretty too. Okay. Yes, you were talking about. Okay. Here. Oh, I don't think I cut that strap long enough. And I don't want it to be all fiddly going. It's just under 2 inches, so I should be okay. I have a little rubber band in here that's not doing anything. I need to use one of the bigger ones because that's what I use typically. I just have to see if I have one right here. Let me see. There. Nope. I didn't get the end of the stop legs underneath the rubber band. If anybody has any suggestions of a better way to do this, when your little plastic thing breaks, I do say, like, if I empty a spool, I'll save them so that I have them. But okay, so again, we're going to grab our crimps. Let me grab a crimp. We're going to pop it on. What color bead do we want? I have sparkly copper seed beads right here. That could be pretty with the center copper as well. Or I'm looking to see where my little favorite pink ones are. Life happened again this weekend and we didn't get as far as we wanted in here, but it's okay. Oh my God. Oh, I almost forgot to show you the coolest thing that Steve found at Dollar General or the dollar store. Yeah, the dollar store. It is $3. It's in their little bit more expensive one, but I'm sorry it's cold there. It's $3, but it's a Lazy Susan, but it has a lid that pops up. There's 4 little clips, and then these all pull out. So what he was thinking is that when we do the sale, we can have all of one item in each thing, and then Steve can hand me the next item, or I hand them to him when we're done with the item, and then he packages up. I also thought, now he just found this yesterday afternoon, so I didn't get that far then. I also thought that it would be really cool to put all the supplies for a specific design in here, and then maybe just plan out your week that way. And then if I get this Monday's design done fast and we want to keep working, I can just go straight to Tuesdays and replace Tuesday around at the end of the center. All of these little pieces pop out. You could use this to sort seed beads. You could use these for so many things. And if you know, you know. I love a good Lazy Susan. I use them to store all of my stackers over here on my my bookshelf, as well as my chain. Okay, come on, don't get, there we go. I'm guessing it's meant to be like a portable snack tray, like a veggie dish. But for $3, you could, there's so many different ways you could use these guys, so many different ways. So the dollar store, yes. I almost forgot to tell y'all, and I was so excited to tell you guys, because you know that I love a good time-saving item. Okay, this defrosted a little bit. Okay. All right, so we have this here. New comments. Her Facebook page is In Rose's Garden on Facebook. Can you not find it? Or is it under Rosanna Bradford? Okay. So I'm just going to grab out a couple. No, you were going to find the pink ones, Heather, so they were easier to see. I hate how easily these bead maps fall apart. We just did not, we forgot to buy the Scotch Guard for me to be able to put the upholstery fabric over this. So, babe, if you're still here, we kind of need to do that this weekend. Or this, like, before this weekend. Okay, where are they? I know I have. Let's see. Here they are. And you could do sparkle. I'm just not doing sparkle on this. I don't know why, but I'm not. Because I'm using the copper. I don't know why not. I could have just used the clear copper lined. But just like I recommended before, obviously you're going to do the first one, leaving the excess space on, picking up Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh, I did it like a pro. I do not pick stuff up off the bead mat directly very easily. So I'm proud of myself. Okay. Then you just grab that side of the wire and this side of the wire without getting one of your seed beads. But this loop is a little bit bigger, so I'm just gonna scooch. There we go, perfect. Squish and swish. And like I said, this was not quite 1 3/4 inch. It was more like 1 7/8. But you can see that it is possible to do it with even just one. Looks really pretty. Could you imagine if you could like connect them through the bead right there? Oh, you guys want me to try it? Or am I annoying you by like squirrel, squirrel, jumping from one to another? Should we try it? I would do it with 8 O's. Should we try it? Should we try it? Stay safe. I'm going to try it. I'm not going to wait for an answer. I'm just going to do it because I want to do it. And I want to see what it would look like now. Where are my 8O bronze beads? Right here. That would be annoying, yes. In my opinion, anyways. If you guys traded in your other car for this car and then he's taking it and leaving you with his truck, that would be a bit annoying. Okay, why do I want to do some? Bronze with turquoise. No, let's do it on the lapis color. I'm gonna need 2 links. And I am gonna cut them just so I can give you measurements. So I'm just gonna cut 2 inches like I did on the other ones, and hopefully that's the right measurement. So I'm going to cut a secondary one. I'm wondering if I can do this, if this will work. See, that's the point of which it always breaks them, right there. Not when I'm taking it off, but when I'm putting it back on. It breaks on me every single time. Okay. What color? I asked Beadalon, y'all, if they were going to come out with some antique bronze ones, and they said no. I do, however, just happen to have some antique bronze crimp beads right here. So I could always use those. I just need 2 that are the same size. There we go. And I'll just crimp them like normal. Okay, so we'll put the crimp bead on. And then we're going to put the 8O on. I don't like the size of that curtsies. I thought I had some that were smaller. Are those the same size? No, those are smaller. Okay, that works better. Okay, pick up the crimp bead. I'm going to do my loop on this side. Oh, no. I'm going to put an 8-0 before I put my line through the other side. Pull it down to give myself more space on the other end. The wire is twisted, so I'm going to straighten it out. Pick up an 8-0 for the other side. Bend it back. I would say it probably won't last. It's kind of like a new toy. But if you're picking up grandbabies and stuff, you need the AC. Okay. Come on, come on. Okay, the crimp beads won't hold it. I'm just going to do, I'm going to use black gunmetal, just hoping that it will kind of just disappear. Try this again. Crimp 2, seed bead, make a loop. Pull the excess down, pick up a seed bead, fold it back through. Now I'm just not sure if I want large loops or small loops for this. I'm kind of thinking that I want I'm gonna do like right in between small and big. And I'm just gonna, oh, I can use the magic crystal. We're good. I'm just gonna crimp it. Okay, cut the excess off. I like to get right in there and pull that whenever there's enough left over to do so. And then we would just take the next piece of beading wire. You might want to use 6/0. And then put your crimp tube on. And feed this wire back through and make the next loop. Then pick up another seed bead and go back through the crimp tube here. My finger's not working. Hold on. Okay, there's that side. I want to grab this other side before it pops out. And I lose it. Okay, there's that side. Crimp it. cut the excess. Also, it shouldn't matter who's making the car payment, even if he was paying for the entire payment. If it was purchased for you, it was purchased for you. So look, you could connect the little link like so. Oh, I like this one. And you could use whatever bead you wanted in the center. But look, it just creates a little beaded chain. I love play days like this, where we can just like see where our creativity takes us. But I love the way that looks. I'm gonna send Becky a picture of this. Whenever I like figure out a new link or whatever, I'll send her a picture for so she can like put it in the chain series or the link series that she likes to do. Okay. Now, I can't remember if we were going to see what it looked like direct connected or not. So I'll make the loop and then show you. I just won't finish the loop. Okay, so I'm pulling it down, pulling the arm out like so. Open up the little loop because I'm curious myself to see if it will seem too heavy if it was just those. I don't see anything wrong with this. I think my other idea I will like more than this, but it's a possibility. Now I need to go back and put this back on my mandrel because I stretched out the loop a little too much when I was doing that. Okay, and I'm just going to pull this around and make it as tight as I can get it so that it will sink down into the opening, making it so that it doesn't look like, and I just like the way that looks. My other idea, however, for this, thank you. I'm glad you guys like it. Yeah, you can use a jump ring, or I had another idea of what you could do to connect those. Okay. I have some that are like really dark like this, where these are a little bit brighter. I have these little like turbine. I don't know what to call them, but if you took a piece of wire, oh, there it is. And like you bend this, but maybe for this one, I'm wondering if the third step is going to be too big, or I should just stick to the second step. Let's see. Oh, I didn't cut enough wire, first of all. I mean, I did. I just didn't bend the wire down enough. That will become jump rings. Again, I'm using 20 gauge wire when making these, but sometimes I like to go down to 22 or 24 for the, I almost did it again, guys, I forgot. You're making bigger loops, Heather. Okay, so if we did, it doesn't matter. I just can't freaking. The spacer is this big, you guys. I think this one I can straighten out. Why am I worried that I'm not going to have enough space on my wire? Like, just bend it where you need it to be. There we go. I'm not going to complete it completely because I want to see if I'm going to like the bigger loop. Maybe if it was on its own, like if I was just doing beaded links, here, I'll just finish it and show you. I'm going to center my loop because it's not quite centered. I don't know why that won't. There we go. And then we just put that little guy on there. Bend it again. I'm going to have to fix my loop. That's okay. Just walk it all the way down. Sorry. I was completely off frame. Or not, I wasn't on the screen. I'm sorry. I'm just simply putting like a bead in the middle of two loops. I'm going to pull that one tight. I just like the way it looks when the wire's pulled tight. It's totally a personal preference. Now, if you were making a chain just like this, that would be a really cool freaking chain. You could even make them perpendicular. Like take your loops and make them perpendicular so that they sit like so, and just kept making it just like that. That would be so cool. Let me do another one. You're going to need about 2.5 to 3 inches of wire for these links. But if you do it perpendicularly, then you can, it will sit. You don't, Heather, why do you keep doing this to yourself? Pull off enough wire. It's not even that I'm not pulling off enough wire. It's that I'm not bending enough wire to make my loop and still have room to wrap. Okay. So put that loop on, open it, attach it, close it, hold across the loop, and get it nice and tight, trim. My loop isn't centered, so let's center that really quick. There we go. Put another one of these little like saucer spacer thingamabobbers. And then because I want these to lay nicely, I'm going to make my loops perpendicular again, or You can make it so that they all face forwards and just connect it with jump rings. I'm just, I can attach the next one, even though this is closed. But look at what a cool chain that makes. Oh, I love that. Okay, yeah. I think I might like it better if they were attached with a smaller uh a jump ring. It's the word that I was looking for. With a small jump ring, I think I would like that better because it would kind of be like this one, except for there's like the little bit in the middle. So I think you're not going to have to imagine this chain because I'm going to make it, but I'm going to attach them to each other using a jump ring so that I can keep both loops facing forwards. And then just have a jump ring that connects them. But I love that. Hi, Sonia. Hi, Willow. Hi, Cassie. Wow, we just got a bunch of you popped in. So yeah, I'm definitely going to make this chain because I love that. But I would keep, like I said, I would keep the loops facing the same direction and just attach them using links. So what I was going to use this together with that. I don't know. What do you guys think? What would you think of that as the chain? I need something flat to put it on so you can see better. Here, let me grab my bust and see if that makes it easier. So if we had that and then we went back to that, or is that too busy and it just needs jump rings? I love this. This is going to be a beautiful chain with jump rings through it. It's going to be so pretty. Now we have some others that just popped on, and not everybody got to see it this morning. Hold on just one sec. I do want you guys to see what the finished projects actually look like from Saturday night once they were finished. So that is the chain one. All right, Georgina, have a great day. So there's that one where I had turned the chandelier pendant upside down. That was my example of when the chain is the design. So there's that one, which I'm so happy with it. I just love the way that it looks. This with like a black velvet dress or satin dress, just French kiss. Mwah. And then the other one, which was the example of when chain is the conduit from one part of the design to the next. Where did you put it, Heather? You had it. Oh, it's right here. Pull the earrings off. And then this was the like fancy jasper or Indian agate, whichever way you know it. That was that piece. So the chain still is part of the design because it connects one part to the other. And then I still haven't figured out that strung piece, but I did make matching earrings that just had one drop. Originally, it was just the chain, and I wasn't liking the way that it looked. So I used that method of putting the bead in the chain and just put a ball spacer in the middle, and I loved the way it looked. I was like, yep, nope, that's all it needs. Dillon and I were playing with this one, trying to figure out, like, we were chatting and I was sending her photos as I went through. And then I just talked about how I like to put the earrings through some links of chain and then put the silicone stoppers on so that they stay on, and that's how I store them in between when they're made and when they're finished. And then today we just had fun. Hi Gracia, did I miss saying hello to you, or did you just pop in? Love you. And then today we've been playing with different ways to create a chain. So we made these little links with some tube spacer beads, and we're going to attach those. And then I showed these, which are just scrap pieces of soft wax with the crib bead in the middle. And then Mary Trent brought up, well, have you ever done it with a bead on either side? And I said, yes, I have. And I showed that, but I'm not seeing it right now. And then I had the idea that instead of, oh, here it is. So obviously that little seed bead would be on that side. And when you connect them to the next piece, they will stay on the right side. So there's that. And yes, I've done that. I did a whole bracelet that way. But then I was like, well, wait a minute. What if we use the seed bead to attach the two links? So then I pulled out this 8-0, but I think 6-0 would be better, though you can use any bead you want as long as you can get two passes of the soft flex through. But I was like, that would be a very cool chain that I would use over and over and over again because it's just so pretty. So now we're going to start putting our little chain together. And I was thinking this chain is getting made, like probably as soon as we're done here. Okay, do we want, oh, I also showed that you can make little like seed beaded links with just a piece of wire and like 5 or 6 seed beads. They don't all have to be the same color. I literally just showed it. I don't know why it's not on my mat. But the idea was that those are a good thing to make while you're healing from like surgery or something. So, okay, let's see here. Like, I feel like if we just did, oh, thank you, sweetie. I appreciate that. Did I miss anybody else? Mary, Kathy. I said hello to everybody. Okay. So, oh, you just popped in. All right. So, this is all just variations of different things. You can also create your own links and do all of that. This was just an idea. I may have to figure out what bead I want to use in between, but that would be like a really pretty link, just like to go with this focal from this month's box. Do I want beads? Do I want beads? That is the question. And if I do I want them to be the same size? Because I could just do some with just the red hashies, but that keeps everything the same side, which is why I was going to pop these links in and just make like a long, really pretty chain. How about, let me see. We could use those bicones. These. Let's see what those look like on a piece of wire. These ones might be a tad bit too big, but let's see. I actually don't mind that. Let me see if I can quickly find my box with all of my gunmetal bead caps, because a little gunmetal bead cap on top of those would be really cool looking. But of course I'm not gonna do it. Find this one right here. Okay. I also have smaller of these, so we can, I think we might go a little smaller today, and then we can go really big another time. But this will just be like the perfect little layering piece. We'll just go a little bit smaller today. And I'm going to whip these out as fast as I can. Since just so you guys can get a look of it without us being here for 4 hours. Well, we're only at an hour and a half. That's not too bad. Okay. Just going to break the bend. I just want to see what it looks like. Oh, wait. I want to try direct connecting, and then we can see if we prefer it as. Okay, the metallic, the black crystal, and then metallic. I think I want to join it with a jump ring. I want like a purposeful. My loop is not shaped right. So let's try that again. Ooh, watch out. Almost hit myself in the face. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I was going really slow, so I didn't break my bike. I'm going to use my little crimping plier to really get that up against the loop before I cut the excess. I'm going to recenter my loop. And then I think that will make a very pretty layering piece. The one with the soft flex, or the one with like the seed beads on a seed, just a little seed bead link. Where did my seed bead link go? It like disappeared and I don't understand where it went. I must have knocked it off with something else. But yes, I have like these full of a bunch of different little seed bead links that I did that again make a beautiful layering piece or a little rest for the eye on a brighter, like a necklace with really bright beads on it. It all works out well. And you don't even just have to do that with seed beads. Like I have these Mexican crazy lace agate beads, like little cube beads. I could put these on a piece of wire with a loop on either side and then put them in and create a chain for like a focal or whatever. That would be really simple and very pretty. But it just goes to show that, like, that's why I don't like to call anything mine, because, like, I know that other people have come up with and used probably the same idea. So that's why I'm just like, this is the link, not my link, if that makes sense. I don't like to take ownership. Okay, I need to cut more length. Yeah, the bar shape one, yeah. Yep, I love the look of it. It's so pretty. It's just like, and the thing is that it goes from like dainty to, it can go from like a dainty little like piece, or you punch it up with really bright colors, and then it's it just has, it's just a matter, like that's the power of like the bargain bead box. Thousands of us get the same exact box, and yet we all come up with different ways of using the exact same collection of beads. And it's fun to go and see what others put up. And I'm starting to post mine as well, getting better. I have a couple from last week that I want to get posted up because I think it'd be better to like post as I design. Plus, then people have that bargain bead box out, and so they might be more likely to come to my channel if I do that. So I need to start doing that. But this would have been really pretty if I had like done links with the Egyptian. Now you're gonna want to go do this other. Like if I did these, but I used the Egyptian turquoise with the red jasper Hashis with these silver links. Do I go there so that I can? I don't know. No. I can't just. I was bummed that like I can't post to Bargain Beatbox from my like TT's Trinkets and Treasures account. That was a little. Hey, stop. What do you do if you made up the link? There are times when I have designed a link, like the one I was using last week, where I went in and texturized it and did all of that. That is a variation of a link from elsewhere, but I switched it out and did it myself. There are links that when I design them, I'm like, yeah, that's my design. I guess what I should say is I don't think that mine are necessarily completely individualized. There may be other variations of that produced a very similar looking link. This Softlex link, I did that 2 years ago now, 3 years ago now, and it's been used in a lot of other videos since then. I don't know that somebody else didn't come up with doing that by themselves. So I don't mind. Like, I want you guys to feel free to use anything that I do. If anything, if you wanted to give credit, just say this. I learned how to do this links on TT's Trinkets and Treasures. And she has some other cool stuff. Like stuff like that's good. Now, the situation with Samantha Latimer a couple weeks ago, or might have been a couple months ago now, is that somebody quite literally replicated an entire design, an entire video, and claimed that it was theirs. They never mentioned her. And like part of the tutorial was literally word for word. That's not okay. Like on any stretch of the imagination, you know, that's not okay. Nobody should be doing that. But links that I create, I just say that, hey, here's a link that I made up over the weekend, and I just always preface it with, I don't know how to put this. I don't know. If I was worried about other people using my designs, I wouldn't be showing them on YouTube. Because, you know, what's the point of you guys watching then? To see me make a design, but then be told you can't use any of the design features in the video? Like, that seems kind of counterproductive, but that's like me. No. So, okay, Kathy, I get what you're saying. Here's the thing. If you like the soft wax links and you went and used them in a design all your own, then, you know, like I said, pop over, say, I learned how to do this over on TT's Trinkets and Treasures channel. This is my spin on it. And use different colors, different beads, different whatever. That's the best way, I would say. If you want to replicate a design that I made down to the very same beads, maybe don't make a tutorial on that one. But if you're using like a design, but you've made a variation of it, go for it. Or if you really love a design that I made that you like down to the very last bead, reach out and see how much I would sell it to you for. All of the pieces I make, unless stated otherwise, are for sale. But like the other day, Delon asked me how, if, man, come on. What happened here? She asked me if this piece was for sale that I made last week with the Alash and Jasper and the really pretty pendant. And I kind of went, because I love it so much, but he has other pendants. So if this is the pendant that I want, because I like those colors, I can recreate the rest of it. So I told her that I go down and I would look and see what it was. And if she just wanted me to send her the pendant itself, then she could create it or whatnot, because that was one that I'm not really, I haven't decided if I'm going to sell it or yet. Yet. So I was a little, I don't know what the right word is. I was very honored that she wanted to buy one of my designs, but it's one of my favorites that I've made lately. So I was a little hesitant and unsure about selling that exact piece. I can remake it with the exact same type of stone pendant, but it just won't be a matching one, because unless you table cut a stone and it just so happens that right where you cut it makes you know, two bookends, then you'll get it. But even those, I have found, do still vary. So I kind of feel like that's a little bit of a gray area for me, at least. If that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, so sometimes that's when I just, yeah. then I'll just post the video that I designed it in. You are allowed to share that link, but it has to, like, all of my thumbnails specifically, you guys have seen them, are, August 2026, and the title of the bead collection and all of that, and then I just go on to the next. So I still haven't decided if I want to pull out the Egyptian turquoise or if I want to keep on with I'm not on the map. Okay. Honey, if you change the beads, it's your design. And like I said, if you wanted to make it bead per bead, the exact same, go right ahead and do it. Like I said, as long as you don't go on and do one of my designs bead by bead and say that it's your design and it's your whatever, when I've already done a video demonstrating that exact same thing, that's where it becomes a great issue for me. So it's just a matter of I think if you could do the same thing using different colored seed beads and maybe a different gemstone or something like that, and it becomes yours. So, like I said, I mean, even if, yeah, that would be good. I'm looking for the Egyptian turquoise. Hold on, because I just had it out, but then I set up all of the stackers so that they looked pretty for that picture. I made a necklace with it not too recently because it's not up here on my area where my latest designs are. It's just really, really pretty bright blue turquoise. That's actually turquoise. It's just found from Egypt. Like, I don't see it right here, but if I come across it later, I'll pull it out. But it's like this color blue. This is block turquoise, which is where they took ground up turquoise and reconstituted it using resin and whatnot. It came out in a big block or a specific size, and they just cut slices in it, and it comes out. But the Egyptian turquoise that I have was not cheap by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't see it right here. I'll pull it out though. And next time I see it, I'll pull it out so I can show you it. But yes. Yes, it's mined in Egypt. Okay. Well, since I can't find it, I might as well finish this more like evening wear necklace. These links real quick. Oh, well, that was kind of counterproductive to say the least. I don't know. What are all y'all's thoughts on that kind of thing? Because I'm curious to hear what others have to say about it, because it might change my mind. Maybe somebody makes a really good point about it. What do all of you guys think about that? Like, at what point is it their design, and at what point does the variation become your design? Because I have said that, like, you should try to keep a jewelry journal so that then if you get stuck creatively, you can go back and look at your past pieces and swap out the beads and just come up with a different, you're using the same design, but the end result is not the same. So what do you guys all think about that? I can get more of that, Caroline. It's turquoise, so it's not cheap, but it's also not as expensive as, like, most turquoise, you guys, is reconstituted. Just so you know, because turquoise is chalk, and we know how easily chalk crumbles. So they will sometimes just put a resin coating on the outside. Sometimes they do the block method. Other times it's just natural. They cut the beads and, like I said, just put a coating on the outside of it. But in the very same point, I have some Afghanistan turquoise that is not reconstituted, and it does. It looks like blue chalk. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Like, it, that's something that, you know, something, if I were new and wanting to know more about turquoise, I would go and research so I could figure out, like, the difference between it, because unfortunately a lot of people get scammed into buying turquoise, and it ends up being magnesite or howlite that's just dyed. So you want to be really careful, because it's hard. Like, I probably, if I had not gotten this from Bernie's and didn't have the explanation, I would have thought this was howlite or magnesite that was just dyed. So it's just a matter of, like, you need to find a source you can trust. I have a really hard time buying turquoise from anybody but Bernie, because I didn't end up with actual turquoise. And there's nothing more frustrating than paying a price for an item, especially with how expensive turquoise can get, just to find out that the piece you have is not actual turquoise. So just make sure, if you're buying off of, like, Amazon or something, go and ask the question in the question portion of the listing. And other people's reviews are oftentimes a very good indicator. I like to look at the top reviews and the bottom reviews, because sometimes the negative reviews have to do with shipping and not the product itself, and some have to do with the product. So you can always, like, go through and learn. All right, lovely. Have a good night. Thank you, hon. I appreciate that. Okay, me neither, Gracia. What, you neither? Oh, yes, I want to see what people are saying. Got you. If it's me, you won't get in trouble. So, yeah. Exactly, Mary Trent. Exactly. It may be new to us, but that doesn't mean it is to anyone. And I've seen people have sent me links of videos where they have used these little soft Lex links, and they do say that they learned it. Sometimes they say Heather Aston, and sometimes they say TT's Trinkets and Treasures, and sometimes they say Heather at TT Trinkets and Treasures. So it's just a matter. Yes, Gracia, I agree. It's the same. Jewelry has been made for a very long time, and you're sure somebody else has already came up with that. I agree. So I don't think checking a bead should count, or using a different colored wire. Oh, I would. It wouldn't be a copy of someone's design. You can just say, like, oh, I learned this, I saw this design over on TD's Trinkets and Treasures, and I'm swapping out beads and changing the metal color, kind of to make it my own. And there you go. Like, that's enough for me. And I don't even, quote unquote, require that much. I'm here to teach you guys. And I see this as a community, not, I mean, obviously I want to sell my designs. That's the whole point. Most of the time. It's about the community for me. If you come and create a positive, if you come and you add to this community positively, I don't need credit for anything, not even that, but I would rather have credit for putting together a community of women who support other women and are there for one another over, oh, Heather has the prettiest designs, or I learned so much, or all of that kind of stuff. It would mean more to be credited for being one of the people that are the foundation of this community. The others being Rosanna and Randy's part of our community. Gracia is. There's a whole bunch of us. Becky and Jenny are part of Beading Besties. So it's just, that's more important to me. And I mean that with every bit of my heart. I mean that. I don't want any of you to feel like, oh, you're just saying that. But yes. Yes, I like how Lauren educates us as well. Correct. Redesign. Charlie Foster's designed a piece of jewelry and it looks almost exactly. It is. It absolutely is. And sometimes we don't always remember, like, you were talking more along the line of saying a link design or wire packs. Would like to know what is acceptable. Yeah, Cassie, okay, I can understand that. But you know what? If you learn somebody and somebody else's learn something from somebody else's channel, I would say that the biggest thing is maybe just ask them what they specifically would prefer. I think that's probably the most respectful and accurate way to go about getting that. Like making sure that you aren't stepping on anyone else's toes. That's all I would say. Oh, this one is going to be tough. I cut just enough wire to go around the center wire one time. Perfect. Don't break your bicone, Heather. Don't break your bicone. Is that all of them? They fell off the side of my desk. I'm also really am gonna go and make this into a chain and just direct connect it as I go. That's what I've done. I've gotten advice from people that I watch and people that I respect, people who don't just talk the talk but walk the walk as well. A lot of people in our community feel the same way as I do, but I would never want to speak for another designer, is all I'm saying. So if you see somebody's design and you know that you want to use it and you want to use it to create a video or you want to use it at a show, maybe just ask them. But like I said, for me, it's about our community, not about the design. A lot of people will say, oh, no, that's why I do this. Some people are more along the lines of, it doesn't matter if you do a variant of a leaf they might have done one time 5 years ago, and they want I'm going to use what Carolyn said about King Solomon. They're going to use, the one lady said, nope, it's mine. I want half of the baby. And the other one said, no, give her the whole baby. And that's how he knew who the mother was. There are going to be people that are going to just want the baby for the sake of having the baby. Not because they're the actual mother. Is all I'm saying. Yes, Rosanna, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because it would be like going to algebra class, having the teacher tell you how to get through an equation, but then telling you, well, that's how I do it. So you got to figure out your own way to get to the same conclusion. That's not like, that's silly, but yeah. Also, Beth asked Randy, myself, and Rosanna all to do a herringbone so that she could learn how to do it. We ended up, all three of us, doing completely different ways. They all were similar, but We all did them. And then she took pieces from Rosanna and from myself and from Randy and came up with a way that made sense in her brain. And that's how she does herringbone to this day. I'm not saying that there's not a chance that somebody else doesn't do it exactly the way she does it. It's like these techniques they've been used for thousands of years. So that was my point. Okay, now we need jump rings. We can put this together and call it a day. I have not made a pendant for it. I don't know that it will have a pendant. Don't you just love when you get jump rings and you pull one out of the jar and that happens? Being completely sarcastic, of course. Yes, that's one way of doing it. I completely agree with this, Mary. That is a great way to go about it. But I don't require that. It's okay. Caroline, exactly. It says a lot about the person who is willing to give others credit rather than use their design. And maybe they don't even say it's their design or whatever, but they don't give the credit. Like, obviously, I don't require it, but it is nice to get because we're all trying to get better. And, I'm real close to 800 followers, guys. I think I have 788, and we got to get to that. I'd like to get to that 1,000 mark because then I can be fully monetized, not just from having members of my channel, because quite frankly, I don't have any. Like, I think I have Steve and Beth, and that's all. So if I'm not making money from it, I hope somebody down the road can. I like to ask if it's a technique I've never seen done anywhere else. I will ask. But like, okay, I thought I went back and forth about who had created the knotted spiral head pin. I felt like I had come up with it, but I couldn't say for sure. And because I learned the knotted head pin from Sarah Lovecraft, I asked her first if she did it. And she said no, but that's gorgeous. It's a great idea. Can I use it? Yes, sure, go ahead. I asked Kelly Sutton, is this something that you did? Nope, never done it. Awesome, but that's a really good idea. So it's just, so either I quote unquote came up with it, I'm sure others have done it, or I learned it from somebody else that I don't remember. None of them had ever seen it done before. So that's kind of like why I'm now okay saying that it was my idea, because none of them had ever heard of it before. So, and if those two ladies with their much larger following, much longer time doing this than I've been doing it, had never seen it before, then that made me okay with saying that it was mine. So. See, this is going to be such a nice stacker. I like to put with another necklace. And while it may not be like the most difficult or whatever else, I could see me wearing this in so many different scenarios. To dress up jeans and a t-shirt, for date night, wearing it to church, pairing it with like, you know, the little black dress, stuff like that. I just think that this is a concept that could go over well. Now, if you made this using some other spacer bead and some beads of your own and you saw it, like, hey, that makes me happy because you liked it enough that you wanted to use the idea yourself. And that feels really good. So, oh, I haven't saw that yet. I thought I had to get to 1,000. I know that because I have so many hours of so many live videos that they gave me the like ability to have members early, like when I hit around 500 followers, because I had so many hours live from days just like this. So going back and forth if this is going to need a focal or not. If so, maybe just using one of the larger black crystals that I had pulled out ahead of time and just kind of creating this link, but as the focal could be pretty. I don't want to get all preachy or anything, but it's the parable of the talent, right? You hide it under a bushel and don't want anybody to ever use it. Then versus the way that I feel, which is like, ooh, put it out there. Hopefully it helps somebody else in their design. Hope that one small part of it helps. It's just a matter of who you're talking to. I got to a place where there was a lot of, this is our therapy, and I don't want it to ever become a negative thing for any of you guys. I don't. Love you, Rosanna. Mwah! Love you. Oh, I don't think I have 8,000 hours. I might have 8,000 watch hours, actually. I could see that more because I have almost 500 videos. So I have quite a few. I know the end of this isn't as exciting, but I hope the beginning of the video helps you guys like maybe solve a problem or think about chain in a little bit different of a way. I'm not gonna lie, that chain piece where I flipped the chandelier link upside down, I'm pretty proud of that. I was trying to do a different idea, which I'm still going to do. I just want to play with it off camera a little bit. I also saw a pretty easy way to wire up a cabochon, or at least it looked easy. But again, I want to play with that a little bit before trying to do it live. But I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah. I hope that it helps you look at chain differently, because chain can be used in a multitude of ways. Rosanna taught me that I should always save my scrap chain, and so I did. And then one day I was doing a design and I couldn't find a spacer that fit right. And I had some links and I tried it and it looked nice. And so I broke it down to like one link and put that one link in, like, as it just like sat over the two beads touching, and it looked really good. So okay. Let's see how long this puppy is. I have down to my, I didn't even count, you guys, and I like came out with the perfect number of both. Hey. I feel like I'm at that place now where like I can eye length a little bit better. Okay. I think it might need a focal, but like I said, a very simple one. Where? I need to never use a head pin and not make my own. This should be long enough. Okay, like I said, I'm just gonna pop out a head pin. I'm gonna grab one of the larger crystals. I still have bicones out on the desk. So do I want a bicone underneath? I think so. Yep. Keep it simple. I think it's very pretty. Doesn't need to be difficult to be beautiful. Oops. I don't know why I went around with that. Mm-hmm. I might not have made that hole big enough for. I know I didn't make that hole big enough for 2 jump rings to go to go through it. Oh, but I could have just done one of the like little clover pieces. Let's do that if I can remember how to do it. It's a new skill to me. Okay. So I'm start in the middle. I'm going to do it just with the second step. Okay, pull that around and go right here. Right here. And go around again. I'm going to take this one and come around it out. I hope I cut enough wire. There we go. I'm going to fix up the loops and get them better situated, but I can do so just by rolling a loop up if I need to. Are you kidding me right now? I have no idea what just happened. Why caused it to spread like that. There we go. Okay. Cut it where the loop began and close that loop like so. And then we're going to come and cut that. Thank you, Gracia. Oh, I just sent that flying unintentionally. Hopefully I okay, and then it looks like there's one more little stray piece. This is not in center. There we go. Got a little bit of extra wire right here. Okay. I think I have everything now. Everything should fit right into place. I should be able to open two of the loops to attach either side of the chain. And then I will create, do I want silver at the center or crystals at the center? I think those. Okay, close that side. Like so. And then I should be able to open. Can I open this loop? Open that loop. Oh, I got to figure out where the split. Right now, it's completely even. But if I go like that, I either need to take off a center crystal or create another like block. Sorry, guys. So I don't know. I'm going to figure out that in a second. I'm going to touch this though, right here. And then when I create the pendant, I will just direct connect it to the third loop that is not like closed all the way. Okay, so then we need the new jump ring or the new ball head pin. Pop a bicone, the bigger crystal, and the other bicone. Like so. I'm going to create a loop. I left about 1 millimeter of space so I don't break my bicone, and I'm going to just do a first set loop since I'm not. This wire is very tempered, so it has a lot of spring back to it. That's why it's not good for ear wires and stuff. It just has too much spring back. And then I'll put that on the center loop, close that loop, and then just grab my pliers to help me deal with all of that spring back. There we go. And I went just a little bit past. Okay. There we go. All right, y'all are going to have to let me know what you think of the metal at the center and whether or not it might be better. I don't know. Here. I have to attach. It's kind of weird because it doesn't have a clasp yet. Because I've got to decide whether or not if I'm going to do another crystal link or just take the last crystal link off of here. One or the other. But I might just need to make the clover piece a little bit bigger to spread it out a little bit. So, oops, it's completely off center, Heather. Wrong way. There we go. There. What do you think? Is the silver at the center too much? Or would the black be too overwhelming to have it all at the center? Or is it just right? I like it. I'm happy with it. All right, Mary Trant. Yeah, I've been on for a while now. Okay, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the second day of just playing around with chain. As I said, there were a couple of ideas that popped up during this video that I will likely go and make just as soon as I get done here with all of you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and that don't get up to too many beady shenanigans. At least, or if you are going to, invite me to play along. Have a wonderful rest of your day. As always, until next time, happy beading.